Welcome to the Seattle Wine Awards, Washington State's premier wine recognition program. Here's an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at the evaluation process and our tasting panel with your host, Margot Myers.
Welcome to Seattle's historic Rainier Club. I am delighted to be here with Amy MUMMA. She is the director of the World Wine Program at Central Washington University, and you've been tasting a lot of wine. Tell me what you think of the judging so far.
Well, this is my fourth year doing the Seattle Wine Awards, and I'm happy to say each year what I've seen is an increase in quality. Increase in the number of wines that have been entered, which makes us as judges do a little bit harder work, but the quality level is certainly come up, which is exciting to see. And the number of varietals, different styles of wine, for us as judges, it makes it more interesting to do that.
So Amy, let's talk about some of those varietals and some of those, distinctive grapes that you're noticing. What are you seeing?
Well, what I'm seeing is that it's interesting around the world, because I do travel quite a bit, is that a lot of regions place their identity on varietal, such as Burgundy is Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, Bordeaux grape varieties. What's fun about Washington is we're not tied to a varietal, at least not yet. Mm-hmm. And so we're determining what is where, so we're seeing things come out. Grenache, Tempranillo, Mourvedre, Cinsault, all different kinds of things that make us adventurous a little bit in the wine world. So that's nice to see. And plus we have the same, Cabernet, Merlot, all are things that people are familiar with. So you have something for everybody.
So when I think of Washington wines, a lot of times I think of the blends. So what are you noticing with the blends that you're seeing in this competition?
I personally think a blend is a great idea. For me, it's kind of like a party. If you invite one person, it's kind of boring. So if you invite two people, create more of a blend, or maybe three people, it adds some nuances, some excitement, some differences in the wine. And I like to see blends. I think it's interesting.
So when you're actually doing the judging, tell me what you're actually judging on and what you're looking at specifically in the different wines.
First of all, we look for Washington. What is characteristic of Washington? So a Washington Cabernet Sauvignon should not taste like a Napa Cabernet Sauvignon. We're not looking at the differences, we're celebrating the diversity. And so I would look at, is this correct for a Cabernet Sauvignon? Does it have good acidity? Does it have full tannins? Is it balanced? Does it have the correct fruit profiles? So that's what I look at when I look at a wine. It doesn't matter whether I like it or not. That plays no role in the judging for me. It is objective as much as possible. This is what it should be like.
So on a personal note, what do you like? If you're just drinking wine and happen to have a glass at home, do you have particular favorites?
I don't. Actually, and that's true, not an evasive question, but I don't. I would rather buy 12 different wines than a case of one wine, because there's always something to learn, something different out there, a new producer. So for me, that's the enjoyment of wine, is finding, just trying different things, being experimental.
What about Washington winemakers, artisan winemakers? How do they compare globally?
I think with the artisan wine, I think that's wonderful. We have a lot of expression. What I like to see is consistent quality, because we're becoming on the world market. We're just starting there, and a lot of people, when I travel, when I say Washington, they immediately say, we didn't know grapes grew at the Capitol. I'm like, okay, it's the other Washington that we're looking at. So I think the artisan is wonderful, but we need to keep our quality consistent. And we need to keep it up there, and that's what I've seen over the past 4 years, is we are coming up in quality with the artisan winemakers as well as the big players in the industry.
Since you do so much traveling, what is our reputation on a global basis with wine? Is it, do we have a distinct reputation? Are we kind of all over the board depending on what the variety is? Or?
Oh, well, to be honest, I think that a lot of people don't know that much about Washington. And so whenever I travel, again, they wonder, it's the capital, and then sometimes I'll say, okay, it's Seattle, so immediately it rains. You can't grow grapes. So I actually spend quite a bit of time explaining. I just got back a couple weeks from Italy, and I always bring a bottle of Washington wine with me wherever I go around the world, a different producer, what have you, to explain this is Washington. it's not so much about variety, it's more about stylistic and about the people and the landscape. We have such an amazing state in many ways.
So you do a lot of education when you're on the road.
I do. A lot of education when I'm on the road, and I learn a lot too.
As your position as director of the World Wine Program, tell me about some of the job opportunities and some of the different areas that your students are looking to go into.
Okay, well, basically in the wine industry, that the stats have shown that only 25% of the jobs are in vineyards and the wineries. So you have 75% of the jobs that are in retail, distribution, sales, import, export, hospitality, tourism. For me, a lot of the success that I have is their success. When they email me or call me, I got this great job. For me, that's why I do what I do.
Anything else, Amy, that you'd like to add?
I'm just really pleased and honored to be part of this and be part of the judge for the Seattle Wine Awards. It's something I look forward to.
Great, thanks.
Thank you, Margot.
For more information, visit SeattleWineAwards.com. Friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and watch more videos on the Seattle Wine Awards YouTube channel. The Seattle Wine Awards, a toast to Washington wine.